Welcome back. Myself, Felina Gonsalves, teacher of Shet Vidya Mandir English High School. Today we are going to learn Chapter 3 of Science for Standard 7. The topic is Properties of Natural Resources, Part 2. We have already learned about properties of air. So now we are going to learn about properties of water and soil. So let's start. Properties of water. As we all know, there are three states of water. Water are in solid form, liquid form and in gaseous form. Observe the picture. What difference can you see? Water occurs in liquid state under ordinary condition. Water is a fluid substance. Water does not have its own shape but has a volume. It can pass through small holes or slip through very small gaps. Let's do other activity. On pouring water in an oil-cradled dish, water does not spread but forms small round drops because it is less dense than the water. Let's try other activity. Take a plastic bottle more than half full of water. Mark the water level on the bottle. Now keep this bottle in the freezer for making ice. Open the freezer after a couple of hours and observe. You will see that the water had changed into ice. Now note the level of ice. You will find that the ice level is higher than the water level before freezing. As water freezes to form ice, it expands and its volume increases. On freezing, how much was the increase in the volume of the water? Let's do other activity. Take a bucket of water, drop many different kinds of articles in it. Now make a list of articles which sink in water and those that float in water. The lighter things will float on water. Let's know about density of water. What is density? Density is a word used to describe how much space an object takes up to the amount of matter in that object. To understand this, let's perform an activity. Take some water in a pot and add a few pieces of ice to it and observe what has happened. Ice is lighter than water. When water freezes to form ice, it becomes lighter than the original liquid. When water freezes, that is, when it transforms into solid state, its volume increases. Therefore, the density of ice is less than the density of water. That is why ice floats on water. The interrelationship between the volume and mass of a substance, that is the space occupied by a substance, is its volume. The store of matter in a substance is its mass. Therefore, density is equal to mass upon volume. Mass measured in grams and volume in cubic centimeter. Density is equal to gm upon cc. By performing this activity, the properties of water are as follows. Water is a fluid substance that is found in liquid state at room temperature and at ordinary condition. Water has its volume, but it does not have its own shape. It can slip through small holes. When water freezes into ice, it expands and its volume increases. Solid ice becomes lighter than the original liquid water and hence ice floats on water. Now let's learn about anomalous behavior of water. Anomalous expansion of water is an abnormal property of water whereby it expands instead of contracting. When temperature goes from 4 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius and it becomes less dense, the density becomes lesser and lesser as it freezes because the molecules of water normally form open crystal structure when in solid form. Usually, when the temperature of a substance is low, its density increases as the volume decreases. But water is an exception to this rule. To understand this better, let's perform the activity. Keep a glass full of water in the freezer for 5 to 10 minutes. Now take it and observe it carefully. The density of water is peculiar when water at normal temperature start cooling. Its density increases like that of the most liquid. However, if its temperature falls below 4 degrees Celsius, its density starts decreasing. This means that the density of water is maximum at 4 degrees Celsius. If the temperature of water is lower, below 4 degrees Celsius, its density decreases and volume increases. From this, it means that water expands when the temperature falls below 4 degrees Celsius. Let's do other activity. Now take 2 big glasses of water. Add 4 to 5 spoons of salt to 1 glass of the water and dissolve it completely. Take a potato and place it in the water in the second glass. The potato will sink. Now take out a potato from that glass and put it in the salt water and observe. The density of water in that glass is greater due to the dissolved salt. The potato will float in that water because of the increased density. When the salt dissolved in water, its particles spread into water. Slowly they become smaller and smaller, and ultimately they become so small that they cannot be seen. That is, they mix completely with water. This is what is called dissolving. Now, what is solute? The substance that dissolves is called solute. For example, salt. The substance in which the solute dissolves is called solvent. For example, water. What we get from the solute dissolved in a solvent is called solution. For example, salt water. Now let's know about uses of water according to its property. Water is useful for water transport due to its purity. Water falling down from a height is used to generate electricity with the help of a generator. Water is a good coolant and therefore it is used in a motor vehicle to control temperature of the engine. Many substances are soluble in water. Therefore, water is a universal solvent. Water is used as a solvent in factories, laboratories, foodstuff, and in various types of biological processes occurring in the body, such as digestion, excretion, etc. Water is also used for cleaning purposes, such as bathing, washing clothes. Now let's know about properties of soil. The main properties of soil are color, texture, structure, and acidity. The darker in color a soil is, the more nutrients it contains. Color is an important property of soil. The soil gets its color as a result of several processes. The color of soil near land surface is darker than that of the lower layer. Soil may be of different colors such as black, red, copper, yellow, grey. The color of soil are useful for its classification. Besides, they are indirectly useful in indicating several properties of the land. In this way, the properties of soil such as its fertility, drainage of water, capacity to hold water becomes clear from its color. The color of the soil depends upon its structure and its organic ingredient as well as on chemical ingredient like iron, lime. Soil texture. Soil contains particles of different sizes. The texture of the soil is determined by the proportion of particles of the various sizes. There are three types of soil: sandy soil, silt soil, and clay soil. What is sandy soil? The proportion of sand, that is, the large particles, is higher in sandy soil. Water drains rapidly through sandy soil. It is easy to plow this soil, but it is less fertile because the particles of sandy soil are made of minerals called silicon dioxide. These particles do not dissolve in water, and therefore the soil has very little capacity to supply nutrients. Silt soil. The particles of silt soil are of medium size. Silt soil is not as powerful as sandy soil. However, it is much more powerful than clay soil. This soil contains a large proportion of organic material. Its capacity to supply nutrients is much greater. Silt soil is also called as sedimentary soil. Clay soil. In this soil, the proportion of small particles is maximum. The particles of clay soil feel smooth to touch. Clay soil has a high water holding capacity. Now let's know about soil structure. The structure of soil depends upon the different shape of the particles in it. Soil occurs in the form of columnar. Columnar are soil particles which are formed into vertical columns. Laminar. Laminar are arranged in layers. Granule. Granule are individual particles of sand, silt, and clay grouped together in small grain, as well as block-shaped structure. The importance of soil structure. The fertility of soil depends upon the soil structure. The advantages of good soil structure are as follows. Roots get a sufficient supply of oxygen. Water drainage is good. Therefore, the root of plant grow well. Of soil, plant conservation, water conservation, plasticity. Soil can be given any required shape. Now let's know some useful types of soil. There are four types of soil: clay soil, sadhu soil, terracotta soil, and multani soil. China clay, it is white in color. It is used to make crockery, bathroom tiles, tanks, apparatus, masks, jars, etc. Sadhu soil, it is whitish in color. It is used for making statues and idols. Terracotta soil, this soil is red in color. Decorative articles and pots used for growing plants are made from this soil. Whereas multani soil is used in cosmetic. Now let's learn about soil testing. What is soil testing? The proportion of the various ingredients of soil can be determined by soil testing. During soil testing, the soil is examined for color, texture, and the proportion of organic matter in it. Soil is tested to find out if there is any deficiency of any ingredient and to decide what measure can be taken to remove this deficiency. For this purpose, the soil sample is collected for testing. It is dried in an open space in the shade for about 8 to 10 days, and then it is shifted to a sieve. There are two types of tests, namely the pH and the electrical conductivity test are used in finding out the characteristic of soil. We can determine the fertility of soil in the field with the help of this test. Now let's know about types of soil as per its pH. A great scientist, Danis Sorensen, put forth the concept of pH based on the concentration of hydrogen ion. To determine the pH of soil, a mixture of water and soil in the proportion of 1:2 is taken and tested using several indicators. Accordingly, soil may be found to be one of the following three types: acidic soil with a pH level is lesser than 6.5, nutrient soil with a pH level is about 6.5 to 7.5, and last one is alkaline soil with a pH level is higher than 7.5. Now let's know about the causes of diminished soil fertility. What is diminished? Diminished is a reduce, decrease in the quality of soil. The factors such as deforestation, ill management of individual wastage, overgrazing by cattle, urban expansion are the main purpose for reduce in the fertility. The soil pH less than 6 or higher than 8. The low proportion of organic matter. As we all know, organic matter plays a key role in maintaining soil fertility by holding nutrients in soil. Decline in soil organic matter causes limited soil life and poor soil structure. No proper drainage of water. Repeated cultivation of the same crop. For example, the fertility of land decreases after harvesting of wheat again and again. We can grow crops like peanuts, moong, beans, lantern, soybean should be cultivated to restore the fertility of soil. And the last one is continuous use of saline water, excess use of chemical fertilizer and pesticide. As we all know, the soil texture is disturbed if chemical fertilizer are used excessive, and that land becomes unsuitable for sowing. Crop should be rotated in order to maintain the fertility of the land. World Soil Day is celebrated on 5th December to make effort for the conservation of soil. Copy the following assignment. Thank you for watching the video.